Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and today we are going to be discussing the events surrounding Hildibrand, the Agent of Enquiry. As an addition to the game originally made before Realm Reborn, Hildibrand himself has created quite the following amongst Final Fantasy XIV fans. Between his hilarious faces, conceited persona, poor judgment calls, and his equally impersonable is the best word I can think of, assistant Nashu, he is a character that we truly wish almost had his own game. So I felt it only fair to discuss the events that Hildibrand has been a part of thus far in A Realm Reborn, and how we can expect the Agent of Enquiry to entertain us further in later patches. Keep in mind that there will be spoilers here, so proceed at your own caution. So before A Realm Reborn, very simply put, Hildibrand and Nashu were NPCs heavily tied to the unlocking of in-rooms. They were very popular, so they kept getting brought back, and they were being their usual characters as they have been in 2.1, providing comic relief while they investigated an important case. Hildibrand eventually became enthralled with the descending Dalamud and sought a way to prevent the calamity altogether. He somehow eventually was convinced that he needed to charge directly into the Red Moon, which was the last time he was seen until patch 2.1 for A Realm Reborn. Now, 5 years after the calamity, Nashu has continued Hildibrand's line of work, doing her best to fill in for her mentor since he threw himself into the Red Moon Dalamud. When the player first meets Nashu, she is investigating a case regarding some unusual zombie behavior. Without much to go on, a man named Wymond asks you to assist her in any way that you can. She is found praying at Hildibrand's grave, where the Echo reveals her hardship in attempting to continue Hildibrand's legacy. She bids you help her find the zombie leader by either befriending or killing the dapper zombies that have been appearing in southern Thanalan. As you slay a great many of them, you discover a piece of parchment that reveals to you their leader's location. It also possesses a phrase, "A gentleman is rather than does." With this clue in hand, you head to southern Thanalan deep into the Sagoli Desert, where the map has directed you. Upon arriving, you're quickly surrounded by a number of zombies who are planning to make you and Nashu meals. Just before the zombies attack, a voice is heard from atop a nearby rock where none other than Inspector Hildibrand is standing. Despite looking quite messy, he commands the zombies to leave you two alone, although in a gentleman's fashion. When Nashu calls out to her mentor, he reveals to have no memory of Nashu, claiming to be Zombiebrand, leader of the zombies. Nashu, wishing to help her mentor regain his memories, pulls out several bombs, claiming that if Dalamud caused him to lose his memory, then an explosion of equal caliber should allow him to regain it back. Despite him pleading that this may actually kill him instead, she uses the bombs to success, with Hildibrand remembering her now. The Echo quickly reveals to you that, despite any common sense, Hildibrand actually survived his fall with Dalamud with little more than some injured clothing. He actually climbed out of the grave and befriended all of the nearby zombies and taught them how to be gentlemen, nothing like a gentleman zombie. However, there's little time to talk about this, as the Agent of Enquiry senses a case to be solved. He quickly returns to Ul'dah in search of his next case. Upon returning to Ul'dah, you find, by talking to the nearby residents, that there is a man dueling fighters and taking their weapons upon defeating them. You approach Wymond for more information, only to be interrupted by the arrival of Hildibrand and Nashu. While Wymond is in some initial shock of Hildibrand's survival, they have no time for chatter, as there is a thief on the loose. Just as Wymond is about to reveal the details that he has, Hildibrand and Nashu, they simply run away with no information about the duelist. Wymond instead provides the information to you, sure that you and Hildibrand will meet up again at some point. He reveals that the woman of the Weavers Guild, Yellow Moon is her name, is the latest victim of the thief in the area and bids that you help her. You find her in the guild, just as he said, and surprisingly, Hildibrand finds his way to her as well, despite having no information. Hildibrand bids that to find her pure heart, her greatest piece of jewelry that was stolen from her, that they retrace her steps for the day. So after revealing nothing more than several men professing their love for her, Nashu notices 3 crates that have been appearing oddly nearby as they've been retracing the steps. She gives you some explosives to blow them up, instead of just opening them, like I said, common sense, and reveals 3 men who had stolen Yellow Moon's jewelry, including her pure heart. Claiming only to want to protect her from the real thief or from any other thieves, she chases the men off. Hildibrand congratulates himself and claims that the case is solved. before a reporter from the Mithril Eye named Ellie appears and reveals that he is wrong. She attempts to give him the information of the real latest victim of the actual duelist, but just as before with Wymond, Hildibrand and Nashu just run off without a trace of where to go. Ellie becomes enraged by this, but at least departs the information with Yu before heading off herself. Ellie reveals to Yu a man named Humphrey in the Golden Bazaar is the latest victim. Once again, upon reaching him, Hildibrand and Nashu somehow show up at the exact same time as Yu. He claims to be a warrior of light who defeated the duelist before Elazar, an old man, reveals that he actually surrendered an ancient sword to him instead. Hildibrand decides to help Humphrey regain the sword for Elazar. It is revealed that the sword was actually a relic and indeed a very rare weapon, although it's often imitated in its history to be made up, so people can make a profit off of it. In fact, Jajompa is another person in the Golden Bazaar, reveals that he actually tossed an imitation sword exactly like it not too long ago in the pond not too far from the bazaar. Hildibrand bids they provide Elazar with the imitation sword that Jajompa threw away in order to ease his pain while they locate the real one. You go to the pond and obtain the blade, though not before rubbing Hildibrand down with some salamander oil to prevent his wounds from becoming infected. Hildibrand returns to the Golden Bazaar to give the fake blade to Elazar while Nashu obtains some new clothes for Hildibrand and some hair tonic for Elazar, who had lost all his hair over concern of his lost sword. Elazar is indeed pleased with the fake blade, claiming it to be exactly like the one he had. Nashu arrives with the clothes and tonic, and just as you are all celebrating, a card flies into the room and embeds itself into Hildibrand's head. It is a message from the duelist himself claiming he will come to take the sword. Hildibrand accepts the challenge, dons his new clothes, and in a glorious fashion claims he will bring this duelist to justice. Shortly after this, a large man is seen defeating another and taking his sword before the screen cuts to black. Of course, it does also give us a preview of the next chapters of the Hildibrand questline, almost like a classic 1990s anime. And now, we wait until patch 2.2 for the continuation of the Hildibrand story. So a few things I just want to mention in case you're not sure of exactly what's going on here at the end. The theme of the story, in general terms, is that Gilgamesh, who is a classic Final Fantasy character, is looking for the sword Excalibur in Eorzea by challenging fighters and taking their weapons upon victory. It has already been revealed in both the ending cutscene and in interviews with Yoshi P that Gilgamesh will be expanded upon over several patches, and now that we've played 2.1, we can assume that will be exclusively through the Hildibrand questline. And what's funniest to me is that, according to Humphrey, he actually gave the sword to the duelist, the real one, which would make me believe that Gilgamesh has Excalibur already. If that is supposed to be the ancient sword that he gave up to the duelist, that's what I'd expect. What's funniest to me is that he seems to think Elazar's fake blade is actually the Excalibur. But since it's already been revealed to be nothing more than a fake to the player, we can already expect how this will probably go. Gilgamesh will take the fake sword, find it to be the Excalibur, and have a failed duel with us. This is actually how I expect patch 2.2, the very next iteration of this, to go, with the battle of the Big Bridge being the climax of the questline. I do, however, expect that we will fight a much more powerful Gilgamesh in a future patch, one which actually has an array of weapons as shown here in this picture with his 8 arms. Overall, this questline is funny, it's quick and easy to do, and it's going to unlock some more content down the line, so definitely be sure to do it. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy videos, information, Final Fantasy 14, 11, whatever Final Fantasy. It's going to happen. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, where you can get regular updates about what I'm doing, videos I'm posting, what I'm doing in terms of streaming, which, by the way, you should follow me on twitch.tv as well. There's a link in the description below for that as well, where you can watch me play Final Fantasy 14, Final Fantasy, just games. Just watch me stream and you can interact, ask me questions, whatever. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.